Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be sewing McCalls pattern 7429. This is the dress that has the twist knot in the front, and we're going to be doing view A, the one with no sleeves with the collar. I think this dress is great on all body types, so I really do hope that you can sew you up one, because I think it would be great to have in your wardrobe. For the view A, we're going to need pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I do also want to say, when I do sew me videos, I highly recommend that you have your directions close by, because in a video like this, I will be saying a lot of things like lower left front, upper left front. And I also say, make sure you look at your directions. That way you can see exactly the pieces that I'm talking about, because I don't want to confuse you at all. So always make sure you have your directions close by. Another thing that I want to note while I was sewing this video is how important, how important snipping up to your circles are going to be. So if we're going to be snipping circles first, we have to transfer them from our tissue paper. So remember to transfer all your markings and then notch also, because that's important too. But once you transfer your markings, you have to sew through them, and then you have to snip up to the circle. Don't snip through the stitching. That's so important. If you skip that step, you won't be successful at making this dress. So it's so important to transfer your markings and then to reinforce the circles and then snip to them. So I think that's about all. It's not hard at all. I really do hope that I do not confuse you. If you do have any questions, leave them below and I'll answer them as best as I can. So after you have your pieces cut out, let's start sewing. All right, everybody, so the first step to making this dress is to put reinforced stitching for our large circles. On the right side, you should have 2 large circles. We need to reinforce those. And on the other corner of the right side, you should just have 1. And this is, again, piece number 1, your front piece. So go ahead and reinforce those. On the one with the 1 dot, make sure that you pivot when you get to that. And on the other side with the 2 circles, you can just sew right through those. So go ahead and put your reinforced stitching in. And once you're done, you need to clip up to the circles. Don't clip through them, clip to them. And once you have that done, we're going to go below that 1 circle that we just clipped, and we're going to do a narrow hem on that. So go ahead and do that. And on the other side, we are going to do a narrow hem between the clippings. We clip between it, so we're going to take that little part that's left between it, and we're going to do a narrow hem between that. Make sure that you look at your diagram, because it shows you a picture of exactly what I'm talking about. So when I do my Sew With Me videos, make sure you have your pattern guide close by. The diagrams will definitely help. So next up, we're going to take piece number 2 once you're done with your narrow hem. And then we're going to put a finishing on the self-facing, but we're going to end at the large circle. I'm going to be finishing mine dress using my serger. You can finish yours in any way that you want. You can do a serger, you can do pick and shears. Just make sure that you finish it. What we're going to do next is we're going to take piece 2. We still have piece 2, and we're going to do reinforced stitching at the 2 circles that are on that piece. Make sure that you clip up to the circles, and then also do a narrow hem with the part in the middle, just like we did on piece number 1, the front piece of your dress. So go ahead and do that, and then sew your narrow hem down. Once you have that done, we're going to take piece 3, which is the lower left front, and then we're going to put a basting close to the fold. We're going to turn up the hem, then put the basting close to the fold, and put a basting 1/4 of an inch from the raw edge. Make sure though that you leave 6 inches open from the side seam. So stop 6 inches before you get to the side seam. I put a pin in mine just to remind me to stop. You can use a pin as well if you like. It helped me to remember not to go past it. So go ahead and put basting stitches on the lower edge of your lower left front, piece number 3. Once you have your basting stitch in place, it should look like that, with your 6 inches from the side seam open. Next, we need to put a 5/8 of an inch narrow hem on the front opening edge of that lower left front piece. We're still working on piece 3. We just did the basting stitch at the hem, and now we're just going to do a narrow hem on the front opening edge of it. So again, make sure that you're looking at your diagram. You'll see exactly what I'm saying on piece 3. So go ahead and do your narrow hem. And so the next step for our dress is that we're going to take our upper left front and our lower left front, put them right sides together, and we're going to stitch them below the large circle. So take piece 2, piece 3, match up your notches and your large circle, and then we were going to stitch them below that large circle. Make sure that you double stitch it when you're done. I'm going to use my serge. You can use pick and shears if you have them. Go ahead and do that. And then next up, after you have it serged or pick and sheared, it should look something like this. I sewed up to that large dot and I stopped there. So then what you want to do is go ahead and press your seam toward the upper left front, and then you're going to turn in that self-facing on that fold line, and you're going to baste those raw edges together. So go ahead and do that, holding that self-facing in place. All right, so this is where things kind of get a little tricky, so I'm laying it out, and I really hope that you can see it and understand it. This is piece number 1, my front piece. I have it laid out here, and I now have piece 2 and piece 3, which is the lower left front and upper left front. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the wrong side of the upper left front to the right side of the front, matching the symbols, and we're going to have the raw edges even, and we're going to base that side and the lower edges together. So I took piece 2 and the piece where the facing is folded, where we basted it, we're going to line it up with the raw edges, and we're going to base the side and the lower edge together. So go ahead and put your pins in yours and let's base that down. I'm sewing it down, and when I get to the end, I'm going to pivot and continue on down the lower edge of it. So again, go ahead and do yours. Make sure you take your pins out as you go. And so now it should look a little something like this, that side edge and the lower edge basted together. Okay, so I'm going to slow this down so I can really explain it the easiest way I can. On your front piece, that piece I'm touching right now, that's the lower left and front. So on the front piece, we had 2 large circles that we cut between. I want you to take those 2 large circles and bring them over to the 2 large circles so that they meet on your upper left front piece. So again, we cut 2, we had 2 dots, we cut to them and we put a narrow hem in them, bring them over, bring in that fullness, pleat in that fullness, however you want to say it, pleat in the fullness, bring in the fullness, bring it to the large circles on your upper left front piece, piece number 2. Bring it to that fit between those pieces. For me, it helped that I put a pin in it, so maybe it'll help you. That way everything is together, you won't lose the pleats. All right, so now I recommend that we go ahead and flip our dress over so that it's looking exactly like step number 10. Step 10 says to pin the lower edge of left front to upper edge of upper left front. That was really confusing to me, so this is what I recommend. Go ahead and spread out your front piece, number 1. Then you're going to take all your lower left pieces, pull that out, and then once you have that pulled out wrong side down, you should have your piece. It should line up to where you can see where you're going to attach it. So it all falls into those clip pieces. The clip pieces should match up perfect, and you should have a notch there also that will line up. So one more time, I'm going to do it in slow motion for you. Lay your piece wrong side down. Take all of your left piece, piece 2 and piece 3, lay it down so that the raw edges of those are on the outside. We'd already put a narrow hem in it that should be on the inside of your dress. So when it's like that, you will be able to easily see that we're going to take the top of that dress and then we're going to connect it right there together. Once you have it together, you have your notches matched up, go ahead and pin it, baste it, and double stitch it. Again, I'm going to be serging mine. You can pick and shear yours and just start it at the center, work your way out to the side seam, and you're done with step 10. Next, for step 11, you're going to go ahead and pin the wrong side of the front to right side of the lower left front, matching symbols. You're going to baste the upper and lower sides together. Make sure that you stop at your large circle. So start from the top, work your way down, and stop at that large circle. And right now, I'm just going ahead and I'm basting it down. Make sure that you pivot when you get to that corner. Next up, we're going to pin the lower left front to the lower edge of the right front, matching your symbols. You're going to use a double stitch when you're done. So it's almost like we're kind of repeating the same steps in kind of a way with the pinning, the basting, and the double stitching. So go ahead and put those pieces together, pin them, and then we're going to sew it and do a double stitch. Once you're done, make sure that you press the seam up. And so now we can move on to our back because our front is complete now. So go ahead and pin your 2 back pieces together. And make sure that you do a double stitch on them as well. All right, so the next step is to sew the front and back pieces together. So right now I have my shoulders pinned. I'm gonna go ahead and sew them down. Then I'm gonna sew my sides, and then I'm gonna serge all of it. I'm gonna serge the shoulders and my side seam. So you go ahead and do yours. Next, after you have it all together, we need to put a stay stitching around the neck of the dress. Stay stitching keeps it from stretching out too much and, you know, just getting all nasty around the neck. The stay stitching prevents that from happening. Next up, once you have your stay stitching in, go ahead and grab your collar. If you are using one and you want to stitch it right sides together down the center back of the collar. Once you have your collar stitched down, you're going to fold it wrong sides together. And you can lightly press it and go ahead and put some pins in it. Match up your circles and your dots. I'm sorry, your circles and your notches. And then you want to take it to your dress. And we're going to pin it right sides together. Make sure that you first match up your center back seam. And you want to place those triangles at your shoulder seams. And then once you have it all pinned around, like so, you can go ahead and stitch it. Again, make sure you just pull the collar a little. Don't pull your dress, just pull a little bit on the collar to fit it in. Once you have it sewn, go ahead and serge it, put your double stitch on it, and then press the seam down. Next thing to do is to put a narrow hem around your armhole. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm folding up my narrow hem. And then here I am sewing it. So you go ahead and do the same thing if you are not using sleeves. If you're using sleeves, continue on to the next step. So the last step is the hem, and it says to just continue to fold up the remainder of the hem and then baste it and then do a top stitch over it. I'm going to choose to fold in the top of that raw edge just so it's a little bit cleaner on the inside of my dress. And yeah, I'm gonna press it down a little bit and go ahead and sew as close as I can to the upper edge of that. And your dress is all done. Thank you so much for watching the Sew With Me video. I hope it helped. Make sure that you subscribe for more, like and comment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Blessings, everyone. Bye.